Hey there, Precalc guys and girls. Today we are going to look at 5-2. We'll say A for now. I might change that to just 5-2 later because we might do this all in one shabam. Okay, bear with me. Just had my wisdom teeth out 2 days ago, so let's see how it goes. You guys don't have to write this. Sit back, relax, listen. These are some general strategies for proving an identity, and that's what we're going to be doing today. First, begin with the more complicated expression. Work towards the less complicated expression. Okay. Next, if no other move suggests itself, convert the entire expression to one involving sines and cosines. Oops. And combine fractions by finding a common denominator. This is going to be a big one that I like a lot, that we use a lot. Okay, I got some other advice. Now I got some other advice, and this will be noteworthy. You can't forget this identity. Your A plus B times A minus B equals A squared minus B squared. Because remember your Pythagorean identities that we talked about a long time ago? Those are going to come up a lot. And always be mindful of the target, what you're shooting for. Don't mess up. Okay. Best way to do these is just see some examples, guys. Oh, and by the way, here's some identities commonly seen in calculus. Take my word for it, these come up quite a bit, especially back in good old Calc 2. You see these a lot. Let's do some examples. Okay, definitely noteworthy example. Prove the identity. Sine over 1 minus cosine equals 1 plus cosine of x divided by sine of x. Okay. Which side do you guys want to start with? It's up to you. What, you want to take this side and make it look like this side? Okay. Okay, here's a hint. I see a 1 plus or minus a sine or cosine. So I'm going to use this one handy dandy piece of advice right here, and I'm going to times it by that conjugate. Okay. So I'm going to times it by 1 plus cosine over 1 plus cosine. Okay. Now according to my rules, this becomes a squared minus b squared. Here in our bottom, our a is 1, so we get 1 squared minus cosine squared of x. Okay, that's 1 squared, but I'm not going to write because maybe I'll write in yellow because I'm mellow. Right? Equals 1 plus a cosine of x. All that times sine of x. Okay. Do you guys remember? What's 1 minus cosine squared? Yeah, remember sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. So that means sine squared equals 1 minus cosine squared. So yeah, my bottom equals sine squared. Okay. Okay, we're almost there. I have the 1 plus cosine of x at the top. Now I have a sine squared at the bottom. The only thing I have that's extra is a squared and the sine. Can I cancel out a sine? Is this a sine times sine? Get rid of one of the signs. and you're left with 1 plus cosine of x over sine of x, which is our right hand side. So it's our proof. That's it. QED. Okay, we got from our left hand side to our right hand side. And that's all you have to do. That's a proof. Got another one for us. Secant of x minus tan of x times sine of x equals 1 over secant of x. Okay. Let's do some fancy math. I'm going to take my left hand side and try to get to equal my right hand side. First thing I'm going to do is secant's 1 over cosine of x, right? Right. Minus tan is sine over cosine, right? And I'm timesing that by sine of x. Okay. Okay, so that's my sine squared of x over cosine of x. Right? Now, let's combine those. End up with 1 minus sine squared of x all over cosine of x. Because I have a common denominator, it's cosine. Cosine, cosine. Now remember before what we showed? 1 minus cosine or sine squared would be cosine. I get cosine squared of x over cosine of x. Now, I need to get to secant, so I need to get rid of this squared. Can't I cancel a squared with the cosine? Well, yeah, I can, because my top is cosine times cosine. Bottom's just cosine of x. They cancel. So I get cosine of x. But I need to get to look like 1 over secant. Okay? Okay. 1 over secant would be 1 over cosine of x. Right? So, here's what I can do. I need to get to look like this, right? Well, guess what? You can just do that. Because 1 divided by cosine is cosine of x equals 1 over secant of x. Left hand side matches my right hand side. I'm done. Okay? Let's do one more. And I'm going to change this one because I actually think that's wrong. I actually think this should be tan squared of theta. So let's do it. Okay. Secant squared is equal to 1 over cosine of theta, right? So I have 1 over cosine of theta all over cosine of theta. Minus, what's tan, guys? It's sine of theta over cosine of theta. What's cotangent? Well, it's cosine of theta divided by sine of theta. Okay. Now let's do some thinking. Sidebar. 1 divided by cosine theta times, we multiply by reciprocal, 1 over cosine theta. It's 1 over cosine squared of theta. Okay? Minus. These are reciprocals of each other, aren't they? So when you divide them, you get 1. Right? What's 1 over cosine squared? Isn't that the same as secant squared? Okay. Now in our sidebar, let's think of our Pythagorean identities. Do you remember that tan squared of theta plus 1 equals secant squared of theta? That means if I subtract 1 from both sides, tangent squared is secant squared minus 1. Okay? Ba boom, ba bing. Left hand side equals my right hand side. Proven. Okay? That's it, guys. Enjoy.